Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is Catching Up with CMO and Shep. I'm Matt Shepard. He is the Craig Monroe, and we're brought to you by Imagine Theater.
I don't know about the.
Well, we're glad you came back for a second week, a second episode of Catching Up with CMO and Shep. Last week we had Torrey Hunter on. Man, was he good?
He really was. You know what? I've always found him very amusing. Like he's got this lighthearted way of being. He's funny, and some of his one-liners were pretty good.
You know what I like most about him, I think, is he always seems happy.
Yes.
And I want to be around people who make me feel good. I mean, who doesn't, right? Torrey Hunter, when you interact with him, look, he can be as intense as anybody else, but when you interact with him, you leave and you're smiling.
Yeah, but
that's what I like about him.
But he also makes you feel like he's your friend.
Yeah.
He's inviting. Yeah. And that kind of energy does. It spreads. And so, no, I've really enjoyed the relationship that I've had with him. And it was nice to get him on the show and kind of catch up with him.
Yeah, well, perfect. Well done. I like how you tie that in, right? Those are the things that I think we're going to bring to you on this show on a pretty regular basis. It's going to be fun. It's not always going to be about baseball. We're going to bring in other athletes as well. But that was a really good way to kickstart this podcast. The thing that I remember most and that I will always now remember is when a coach told him, "You have a gift." And he thought he was talking about his baseball skill set, when really he was talking about his personal skill set to make people feel welcomed. That's not an easy thing to do. You and I have talked about this before. Folks, it's hard to be likable. He's really likable.
Yeah. There's no question. You talk to anybody around the game of baseball, and they will tell you he's big brother to them. Mm-hmm. He's taking guys under the wing. Black, white, doesn't matter.
Right.
He's just a likable guy, and he cares about people. And I think that comes from how he grew up. He grew up rough. He grew up tough. Went through a lot of things as a kid, and now to see his success, I mean, he doesn't forget. He remembers what he's been through.
You believe in that? The grow up tough? Do you think that's really important?
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm going to tell you.
You did too.
Oh, I did. But let me tell you what happened this weekend.
Okay, tell me.
Oh my goodness. So I got two kids, Ken and Colin. They play basketball, AAU basketball.
Good players, right?
They're good players. They're skillful. But, man, on the court, I just like to see them be a little bit more gritty, a little bit more grimy out there, because you've got these kids that kind of grow up tough, and they're pushing, and they're getting after them a little bit.
Yeah, that's the inner city kid.
Yeah, but my kids are kind of like, eh.
So whose fault is that?
Well, I can't. I'm not going to take the blame for that.
Why not?
I can't, because listen, we talk about the game of basketball. I talk about how you got to be tough. You have to get after people. And they do it. But they pick and choose when they want to. I would like to just see them do it a little bit more often. That's all.
Okay, as a dad who is really involved with their kids, are you almost too emotional at times?
There's no question.
You have to back off the
wear
pedal?
my emotions on my sleeve. What are we talking about here? I'm emotional. And maybe like now, I'm already getting a little excited about talking about it. But I'm going to have to maybe take a step back and maybe not push as hard. But I don't know any other way.
So when they jump in the car, the game's over. They jump in the car.
The game's not over.
So you're talking about it.
Absolutely.
That's rule number one that you don't do. You know that, right? You're supposed to leave it there.
Absolutely not.
Yes. Look, if you're a dad coach, you tell the parents of the kids you're coaching, give me 24 hours.
But hold on,
you're not giving your kid 24 hours?
Absolutely not. But I'm not going to take all the blame here either.
I didn't ask you to, but that's bullshit.
My wife does it. My daughter does it. They all do it. We all do it because we care. We can't care more than they care.
Well, who says you do? Maybe you're just more emotional than they are. It's not like they don't care.
Okay.
So you're coaching them in the car on the way home. That's a dreadful ride home for your kids.
Maybe, but maybe they'll be better too next time they play.
Yeah, maybe. I think in basketball, let's be honest here. It's the inner city against the suburban, right?
Yeah,
There's a belief there. I'm not saying it's a painted broad brush here, but I think a lot of people feel that way. My kids all grew up playing hockey. When they play the east side, you better strap your helmet on a little bit tighter because you know you're going to get rocked a little bit, right?
A little bit, and that's what's happening this week. This weekend, it happened.
Okay,
they were getting pushed around a little bit. Now I'm not saying they just completely back down, but I just would like to see them elbow a little bit more, be more physical. You know, that's just me.
Look, I can't blame you, but I will say this: one of my prouder moments. One of my boys was playing in indoor lacrosse league, and a kid gave him a cross check, and he literally uppercut him and decked him. He got thrown out, and I thought to myself, "That's kick ass."
Yeah, that a boy. That a boy. You want to see that?
I was pretty flippin' happy when that happened.
You know, you have to be, and again, I'm rooting for them. I mean, I love the way they compete at a different level. They are athletic, but man, you just got to toughen up. Basketball is a physical sport, and people say, "Oh, basketball is not physical."
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it is. These guys are getting after each other, and the refs are letting them play. So, tough weekend for the kid this week. It was a tough weekend this weekend.
I have said this about a lot of different sports. TV doesn't do it justice. Okay, so you're in the batter's box, and you're facing Randy Johnson. Most people are crapping their pants. If you really look at it from and I've been fortunate because I've watched it from the camera level.
Yeah.
You can barely see the ball, right? Football, if you watch it from the sideline level at the NFL, they are so much faster than people could ever get an indication from TV. And basketball, it's a lot more physical.
It really is.
Think.
Speaking of Randy Johnson, there's two guys. Rookie, I'm a young player, getting to the big leagues. Yeah. I've watched these guys on TV, and I'm like, man, one day, I would love to be in that batter's box. Well, I got that chance. I remember walking from the on-deck circle, and I get in the batter's box, and, do my routine. And I look out there, and freaking Randy Johnson, well, he's left-handed. He's got this glove over his whole face, and all I can see is his eyes, and it's the death stare. And I ain't going to lie, the first time facing him, I had, you kind of give that little deep breath. Oh, yeah. Okay, get after it, And then the other guy that just scares me to death, my first at bat was Roger Clemens.
I bet.
Roger Clemens threw one I'm talking about, Shep. I mean, I felt like it just tipped my nose or something. And I get out of there. And I was proud of myself, though, because I was scared to death that first bat against him because, it's Randy Johnson, it's Roger Clemens. Come on. And so I dig back in, and I ain't going to lie. The coolest thing was to get in there against Randy. And I went boom in Minnesota. I hit a home run off of him.
Wow.
Proudest moment ever because the first year I faced him, I was nervous and I'm scared to death. But as you go around the league, you start to get more comfortable. And so, I'll toot my own horn there. I was pretty excited to hit a home run off Randy.
I would, too, against a Hall of Fame pitcher. As intimidating a lefty-righty Major League Baseball combo, perhaps, of all time. Maybe not the most. Bob Gibson was intimidating as a right-handed pitcher. Nolan Ryan sure as hell was intimidating as a right-handed pitcher.
I go back to Nolan Ryan. When
Bob Feller.
What about Nolan? When I think about Nolan Ryan, I hear Nolan Ryan. I think about Nolan Ryan beating the crap out of Robin Ventura.
See, that's what a lot of people think.
And that's the image I have.
An image in his 40s, too, doing it. People forget right after that, I think he retired 11 of the next 12 batters because he stayed in the game. That doesn't happen today. No. He just beat the shit out of Robin Ventura. Ventura got booted. Ryan stayed in, then retired 11 of the next 12.
You talk about how players remember. You always told me about how players remember everything about their at-bats. And you just throw that at me like, I don't remember that.
Well,
I don't.
I know. It's a little different for me because I remember Nolan Ryan, the 7 no-hitters, the fact that his strikeout record will never be broken. We were just talking about Randy Johnson. He's second. He would have to pitch another he's about 900 shy of Roger Clemens. In other words, another 3 years of 300 strikeouts, which wouldn't have happened.
No.
But I also think of this. He's not only got the most no-hitters, he's got the most one-hitters and the most two-hitters of all time. Never won a Cy Young.
Are you kidding?
Not kidding. Never
now
won a Cy Young.
Now that surprises me. Now, I will say this. My encounter with him, I had a chance to meet Nolan Ryan. It was at the Texas Rangers organization, and they had like a career development to where we got to go to Arlington, work out for like a week. We'd stay with host families, and we'd have a speaker. Well, this day, this speaker was Nolan Ryan. And all of us were like, we're geeks, man. I grew up in Texas. I'm like, oh, man, we're talking to Nolan Ryan. I learned something from Nolan Ryan. He's a pitcher, being an outfielder. He talked to us about how you long toss. A lot of kids long toss, and they throw the ball high in the sky. Right. Distance, however far you want to go. He said that's not the way you want to do it. He told us that you wanted to skip, you want a one-hopper, you want to throw more on a line because you want all of your arm speed out in front and down. When do you ever throw a ball and you're going to throw it up in a game?
Yeah.
Every time you throw the baseball, you're throwing it to a target and you're throwing it down and you want it to be on the line, giving the infielder a chance to cut the baseball. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
No line, I added a little velo on my throws from the outfield because of that nugget that he gave me
That's
about
great.
long tossing.
Getting the good habits. Yeah.
You try to create them.
I love talking old school sports, but especially old school baseball, because there's so many guys who just don't get nearly enough credit and love because we are so wrapped up in today's day and age, which I greatly respect. I greatly respect today's players.
Bigger, faster,
without a
stronger.
doubt. They say, okay.
More,
I don't know if they're stronger.
they analyze the analytics has kind of taken over the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of guys who are stronger than Frank Howard. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think many people do. So I had this debate with our friend Robbie Grossman in Boston one day. You and I were there, I believe. And there's a red seat in right field.
Yeah.
And Robbie says, Shep, you're a baseball guy. I said, I like to think so. He says, do you believe you really hit it that far? I said, you're damn right I do. And
Why would he even question that? That surprises me.
He said, I don't. And so he got into the bigger, stronger, faster. And I said, I'm not going to deny that these guys are bigger, stronger, faster today, but there are exceptions to every rule, right?
Yes.
It's hard to paint everything with a broad brush. I said, you don't think Frank Howard or Harmon Killebrew or Hank Aaron was strong? You don't think Bob Gibson threw harder or as hard as anybody else, or Sandy Koufax or Don Drysdale? I said, come on, Robbie, you can't believe that, right? So we had a really good debate.
He's a baseball guy. He's a baseball rat, too, and I'm surprised that he even made that comment.
Yeah.
I really am. That surprises me.
Yeah. And in case people are wondering, the red seat is for Ted Williams. It's, that big home run.
Is that one of your favorite places, too, by the way, to go? As far as ballpark, like the Fenway Park.
Yeah, you and I have been to every ballpark. Jack Murphy Stadium's the only one I haven't been to in San Diego. So I've been to every ballpark. I like ballparks that scream, that smell, that feel baseball.
Yes.
And for me, Fenway Park is that, even though I don't like the Red Sox.
I know. You've made that very clear to me on several occasions.
It's more because my wife's family is such Red Sox slappies more than anything else. But I love Fenway Park. I absolutely love it. There's no doubt. You and I have been in Kansas City before. I love that place. And I really like Pittsburgh's PNC Park.
I do too. I like the view. Like, it's different when you're playing. So in the outfield, you look around and it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. But getting a chance to call a baseball game and being in that booth and looking out just changed my whole perspective of that field.
Can I give you another one?
Which one?
Dodger Stadium.
Oh, I got to go there last year.
Yeah, that screams baseball for me. And one of the newer parks that I really, really like is San Francisco. And that's more because of, what you're looking out into.
Yeah.
But it does tell me it's all baseball. Not that other places don't. Seattle's fine, okay.
Seattle's nice.
But there's a lot of them where you go to and you're just, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not moved by Angel Stadium, for example. I mean, there are certain little nuances.
I kind of like the backdrop, though. You don't like the
fake rocks?
Yes, the fake rocks. You don't like the rocks?
I mean, they're okay.
Yeah, well, I guess for me, again, in the batter's box, a little different.
Yeah.
You hit a homer,
hitter's eye and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the ball kind of hits in the fake
So who had the
box.
best hitter's eye, where you could pick it up the easiest?
Well, if we talked to our last guest, Torrey Hunter, obviously I saw the ball well in Minnesota.
Right.
I guess I hit the ball well there. Yeah. But I really like Kansas City. I really like hitting in Kansas City. I like the backdrop there for whatever reason. And I don't know why, Shep, but I just happened to see the ball better. I saw the ball good there.
Before I started calling games, what I would do is I would go to every ballpark that I visited, and I would go to different sections before the game started, before we were on the air. And I would go to different sections just to give me an idea of which places have the best sight lines.
Oh.
And that's a big reason why I like Kansas City, besides the obvious. The broadcast booth is outstanding.
Yes.
The people we worked with were great. The view is fantastic, except for the highway in the background, but overall. But if you go to any place at Kauffman Stadium, I don't think there's a bad seat in the house.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
Speaking of ballparks, I have to share this story with you, and I don't know if I have or not. My first ballpark going to, being from Texas, was the ballpark in Arlington.
Okay.
I was 12.
Mhm.
We win the district championship, so we're going to the state championship, right? And
Now, this is the one that's not there now.
no,
folks.
it's
This
Globe
is-
Life now. They've moved it.
It's in the parking lot.
It is.
What used to be was a pretty cool stadium. They use it for like XFL or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
they do all kinds of things, concerts and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff now. And we're in right field. We're in the third deck. Okay, we're in the third deck. And I'm 12 years old. I'm a big kid, never been outside of Texarkana. And this thing is huge and it's massive and all these people are around. And I remember this, Shep, like it was yesterday. About the fifth inning. You know how you kind of go over to the rail, you lean over.
Mhm.
So I kind of go to the rail and I lean over. And I just say, man, I'm going to play out there one day. Mind you, the usher is telling me, hey, kid, get off the rail,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you know my first game in the major leagues
Was it the ballpark in Arlington?
was the ballpark in Arlington in right field? I can't make this up.
That is
It was already written. I'm just playing out the script right
Did
now.
you go look for the usher?
No.
That would have been fantastic.
It would have been, right?
That would have been a great story.
Yeah,
Bring
but
the
no,
usher.
that was
hey,
crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's like, just my life in general. That was crazy to be 12, to speak it into existence, and then actually go play there. Come on.
So that's what I love most about sports, and that's why I tell people, if you're going to dream, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're playing in a rock band. I don't care if you're playing sports. You want to be an actor. You want to be a director. Keep the dream alive. Just understand what it takes to get there, and have a plan. Obviously, every kid in my era grew up wanting to play for the Tigers and playing at Tiger Stadium, and that's why Tiger Stadium's so special to me.
I hate that I didn't get to play there.
Yeah,
I was a little late to the party.
It was, now you talk about something that reeks. I mean, absolutely smells of baseball. That's
that
Tiger
place did,
Stadium.
huh?
As soon as you walked in, you know you're in a baseball ballpark, and that's what I loved about it. Whether I was watching games from, center field in the bleachers, which was crazy, or I was fortunate enough to sit closer to the railing where I could literally see Lance Parrish's gold chain around his neck.
The big wheel.
It didn't matter. When you
No.
walked in there, whether my dad was holding my hand when I was 8 years old or when I was a little bit later and going to the final game, I got emotional. It was a connection I felt. I loved that place. I still, to this day, if there's one place you could go and take your kids, take me back, where do you want to go? It's Old Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, you know what? When I looked at the pictures of it, the one thing that I know that I would have loved about it was how close the fans were to you. Like they were right on top of you. Kind of gives you that for me, that's that Boston feel where you walk out of that dugout, they're on the field. It seems like they're on the field. Like you could touch, you're so close, you feel like you can touch them. That's the one thing that I kind of don't like about Comerica Park at times.
Oh, I agree.
Because it goes back.
I think it's very similar to a lot of places, and what I liked about Tiger Stadium is it was very unique to me anyway. And I thought to myself, first of all, I get very emotional about that place. I get upset. I remember going to Cooperstown one time, and I kind of read them the riot act because I said, the oldest ballpark in baseball is in Detroit. Where is it represented here in Cooperstown? Not nearly enough. I was upset about it. I mean, they give so much love to Fenway.
Yes, they do.
And Wrigley Field and Dodger Stadium. Where is Tiger Stadium? It's a moot point now because it's no longer the oldest, which I thought was fantastic. And I like where Comerica is. I love the downtown area that they're all within 3 blocks of one another. It's very unique in sports today. In a perfect world, you've seen those houses, people put them on studs and then they move them, right, the whole house, okay? Or restaurants, they'll take a barn from Maine and move it.
That's what you wanted to do?
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted them to pick the thing up, move it, and place it to where it is now. That's what I wanted.
Oh, that would have been beautiful, wouldn't it?
Here's the other thing. They didn't sell it out. Presented by, when I say sell out, I mean give it to a corporation. Yeah. It was Tiger Stadium. It was, Navin Field, Bennett Park, Tiger Stadium. That's what it was about. It was Mecca for me. I just loved it. Now, speaking of old timers, now you wore, last episode with Torrey Hunter, you wore the Detroit Tigers old jersey.
Yeah.
What happened to the casual wear today?
Well, see, what had happened was, no, I'll tell you exactly what happened. I didn't get the memo. Shep's got on this nice button-down shirt. Here I am in a Nike out, just a hoodie here, like it's
You're casual. That's
no,
who you
no,
are.
no, no,
So
no,
what?
no. But people love that I dress up. People love the combos, the crazy colors, the crazy jacket. What do you think about this, by the way? I think, I'm just thinking out loud here. I think I might go back. To it. I got to give the people
so
what they
you're
want. Like if they want to
You're gonna
see,
show me up. Is what you're saying?
no, you're doing it today. I mean, look at me.
I have jeans on. I just want you to know.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
have
wear
a full
jeans.
suit.
I'm gonna wear jeans
So let us in on some information on that. Where did you get your suits?
all over here in Detroit. I mean, if you think about when I think about style, fashion,
Mm-hmm.
I think about Detroit. It's bold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grit to it, and it's flashy, and so no, it fits right in with my personality, to where I can get outside the box with the colors and the combos, and so no, you
All right,
guys
so
can
you're
look
gonna
forward to
bring
it.
it back.
I'm
Okay.
gonna bring it back. I mean, not every day because it's just tough to keep up
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
But let's be clear, CMO's gonna have on a little bit of
That's who he
some
is.
swag. Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Just so people are aware, when he and I would be on the road, there could be some danger there once in a while when we go into men
I
clothing
think I got you in
stores.
trouble.
I mean, a lot of trouble
I
in
did.
Toronto, New York. We were in Minnesota. I go to a store, and what do I see? There's CMO looking around at suits and stuff, and we ended up buying at least 2 each.
Yes.
I think.
You went crazy in Toronto though.
I did.
And you told your wife, you blamed it on me, dude. Come on.
But it was your fault.
No, I was just in.
I didn't know about the store, dude. And you
but
told
I-
me about the store and took me to the store and then lured me in with a color of a Tiger's colored
It was
shirt,
beautiful.
a Tiger's colored jacket, and some other.
Did you look good? Yes or no?
I did look good.
Okay, that's all that matters.
I wish I could still wear it, but yeah, I did look good. I mean, I do appreciate that. We talk about old school, and by the way, we're thankful for our partners at Imagine Theater here for bringing it. You brought in some baseballs for us. This one right here is the Hawk,
Yes.
Andre Dawson, who I love.
No. Is it? I'm gonna look over there. I think that one's Griffey because when I picked this one up,
Oh, is that?
I think we.
you traded with me.
I did. I traded.
All right, I
with
got
you.
Ken Griffey,
Ken Griffey
not
Sr.
Junior, Ken Griffey Sr., who was part of the Big Red Machine.
Yes, he was.
And won a few championships. And that team is arguably the greatest of all time, arguably, because the Oakland A's teams back then were pretty damn good too, I might add. I know people like to look at the Yankees, but Ken Griffey Sr. was part of a team that had Pete Rose and Johnny Bench and Cesar Geronimo and Dave Concepcion and so many great players, right? I loved watching that team play, even though I couldn't say it was necessarily my favorite team. George Foster hit 50 home runs with that black bat. And then you've got the Andre Dawson, who I remember as a Montreal Expo.
Do
I
you?
Loved watching him as an Expo.
And then see, growing up for me, I remember him when he played for the Cubs,
Yeah.
and he was just different.
Yeah.
The ball just sounded different off his bat. He's one of those guys that I did watch too. I was surprised too with Torrey Hunter last year. Our first episode. I didn't know that he mocked his swing and he imitated his swing with the front leg when he told us Andrew Dawson. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. I've always kind of been like one of those guys. Like I wasn't making it to the big leagues first of all. I mean, who wouldn't be? But then to get to play against these guys that you've played video games as,
Yeah, right.
to go up to them and go, hey, think I can get an autograph? Scared to death about it, but no. So I would ask the guys that I absolutely love, can I get a jersey? And the guys were polite. They were awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Guys like Jeter. I got Jeter autograph. Ken Griffey Jr.'s signed bat. Mark McGuire. I mean, I've got a Torrey Hunter jersey in my house now. Alex Rodriguez. I've got so much memorabilia.
So
Now,
what are you doing with it all?
right now?
Like, what is the man cave? Because I haven't quite gotten that invitation yet, but is the man cave full of signed jerseys and bats and on display, or is it kind of filed away in a nice place before you buy a bigger place?
A nice place, but they're in a storage. Let's just be honest.
Storage facility. Okay.
Yeah, but not all of them. I got some out. But my favorite piece is I took all the things that I wore in the 2006 World Series, and I put it in a box, glass box, beautiful box.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've got my bat, the shoes that I wore, the towel. It's just something about the towel that when I walked out of the dugout and they were freaking, the Tiger fans were going crazy and they were rolling. Just the towels were going crazy. That's all I would see. So I got a towel in there, my glove. And I think maybe have batting gloves in there, man. But that's my favorite piece because that's a moment that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
As a kid, you drink that.
And the pictures too, right?
Well, there's a picture of me in there, Mr. Clutch, because that year I hit, I guess, big-time home runs in big moments, I guess. But
for sure.
I was more focused on the pandemonium that was going on.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to go there because I feel it right now. I remember walking down, so in the clubhouse, when you come out of the clubhouse at the Tigers at Comerica Park, it's a lot of stairs. You've walked those stairs with me going down, and it's far.
Yeah. From the clubhouse to the field.
To the field.
Yeah.
I remember this. Marcus, Tim, and I was walking down, and we started getting goosebumps. Are you serious? The stadium was rumbling. It was shaking as we were coming down to the field, and I was just like getting fired up, Shep, because I was like ready to go. So those are the things that I remember. Those are the things that I absolutely love.
Yeah, even though it was cold.
People
were
cold.
Just so fired up.
But
ask Placido Polanco if it was cold back in 2006. It was absolutely, or 2000 later on.
In your mind, it's not cold though.
2012. Yeah.
No, it wasn't cold. And I can tell you this: you remember not Ramon Santiago, Fernando Rodney.
Oh sure. Yeah.
Fernando Rodney. We call him Samana. I don't know why, but that was his nickname. Don't know what it means or anything. But he would when it was cold like that, he'd come up to me and he goes, "Simon, it's no frio. I mean, it's not cold. It's in your mind. It's mental. You got to have control." What he was trying to get us to understand is that you can't focus on the cold. You got to go to the island, he said, where it's nice and beautiful and sunny, and you got a pina colada. So
that's good.
It was just a thing of just being relaxed and forget the cold. It's cold. We get it.
Yeah.
But if you focus on the cold, you're not focused on your performance. And they were part of the problem, but I won't go there
until you get plunked.
Until you get when you get plunked, it hurts like hell. But and then you can't feel the ball. I had to put some pine tar on my glove to just try to be able to feel the ball. There's so many little tricks that you can do, but
sure.
I just remember talking about that.
Ask Kenny Rogers about that. Yeah.
I don't know. Kenny didn't have any pine tar. What are you talking about?
No, not on his hand. No, not at all.
No.
The TV cameras only zoomed in on it numerous times.
And I don't know why they did that, but I know he dealt that day. That's all I know.
Oh.
He was something else.
He was a really good. What a key acquisition, huh?
He really was.
I don't know if you remember this, but the Tigers in 1987 traded John Smoltz for Doyle Alexander. And everybody views that as a loss. And I get it, because Smoltz became a Hall of Fame pitcher. He was out of Lansing. He was an A-ball when it happened. Nobody necessarily knew what he was going to be like. In fact, I would argue most people outside of Lansing, even in the state of Michigan, didn't know the Tigers had him. They got Doyle Alexander, who went undefeated the rest of the way and was an all-star the next year. Tigers don't win the division in 87 without Doyle Alexander. So there are certain guys who, when you talk about Kenny Rogers and the addition that he made to that team, that was super significant.
Yeah, he was great, though, in the clubhouse. He was great for Justin Verlin, like our young pitchers that was on our squad. He would hold court. You would see them. He'd take them out to dinner on the road trips. It was just the boys. It's just the pitchers. They would just go, and he did. He got veteran pitchers that could teach them things. And he wasn't overpowering anything. He didn't have the kind of stuff that Ver had.
Right.
But he had the knowledge. Yeah. And he would talk to them about adding, subtracting, how to move guys' feet.
Quadrants, using quadrants.
All 4 quadrants of the strike zone, being able to throw all your pitches in any count. Those are things that you learn. Pitchers learn, hitters learn from hitters that you remember.
Do you think many hitters talk to pitchers about how they set guys up, and can pitchers help hitters?
You'll be surprised how much they talk. Yeah. Hitters talk to pitchers. Because we want to know. We want to know, okay, like you'll ask the guy, one of your teammate, how would you get me out? Because if he knows how to get you out, trust me, there's enough document, enough data. They know the other team knows how to get you out too. And so you would start to form your approach to how teams are going to pitch you, how pitchers are going to pitch you, inside, outside, off speed. And so we talk quite often. Matter of fact, I've learned a lot about not the mechanics of hitting, but I've learned a lot about hitting by talking to pitchers.
What is sacred then? Because eventually you may be my opponent, even though you may be my teammate now.
Yeah, but you got to execute. See, that's the game. You look at even now, they know what's coming particularly, but they know what a pitcher has. They know how often he throws it, inside, outside, up, down. They know. We have these sheets that they give you. I know exactly what the guy throws 65% of the time with 2 strikes. And for Osimo here, it's going to be a little slider down the way. He gone. Get me out.
Yeah.
So you know these things. So it's about executing pitches. I know what you have. You know what I do. You make a mistake, you might get got. Just might happen.
So when you bring that up, I think immediately of Casey Mize. Thought we knew what he had a few years back, the splitter, which made him very famous at Auburn.
Yes.
Made him the #1 overall pick. Made him a consensus All-American. But didn't see it early in his career. It was a different type splitter. Now it's working for him. He has as many wins now as he has ever had in a single season in his career. What's he done that you think has given him added velocity? He's pumping it in at 97, 98. He can mix pitches. What do you think he has done to become so integral in the Tigers' rotation?
Well, he's a student of the game. That's number one. He really he dives into the analytics of the game. He understands his body now because he's been through some injuries. Yeah. They've kind of adjusted his mechanics, which allows him now to get better extension on his fastball. I think that's why you're seeing the velo. A lot of guys are talking about it almost for a hitter looks like it's rising ball, that elevated fastball. His ball's got some carry to it, where it stays on that same plane. As a matter of fact, it kind of, again, it doesn't rise, but it looks like it does to the hitter. But the splitter's working. I think the splitter is really, it's got some bite to it. Now you're seeing it. You're seeing the depth of it. Because I think when he first got to the big leagues, I really do think he was hurt. But as players and pitchers, you don't want to say anything. You want to make the team. Are you doing your team a disjustice? Yes. But it's something about being in the trenches with your guys that it's like, you're going to be banged up a little bit, but I got to fight through it. And he was that guy. He wanted to fight through it. But you see now after going through the injuries and getting himself healthy, getting his body in shape, he's built up a little bit. He's a lot more stronger. He's a lot stronger than he was when he first got there. I think we're going to get even a better version.
If he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy.
I would argue he throws more strikes now than he did earlier. And that is key for Chris Fetter. It's key for Casey Mize. And it's the reason he was so successful at Auburn. He barely walked anybody at Auburn. I think he had 12 walks his senior season, the entire year.
Yeah, but effective strike shift.
But effective strikes.
Because here's the difference. I love a guy that throws strikes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm digging in.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to get a pitch to hit. The toughest guys in baseball to hit are the guys that are erratic. They're all over the place. Hell, I'm scared they might throw one in my head, and then the next time they throw 3 straight sliders down the way.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, give me the guy that throws a lot of strikes. It's a different than throwing strikes, than throwing effective strikes, hitting those zones, those corners where guys can't just barrel you up. So I think that's what he's doing, because you don't want him throwing too many strikes where guys are comfortable. You got to be moving hitters' feet to make us uncomfortable. So being a strike thrower is great to get ahead, but they better be quality strikes, because if not, that's when you're going to get hit.
I think a lot of people would argue he's been one of the biggest surprises of this team. Who's been the biggest surprise for the Tigers for you?
The biggest surprise, brace yourself, people. No. It's been Javier Baez for me.
Okay.
I don't think anybody expected Javier Baez to come back after the 3 years you've seen where you've got memes of him swinging at the slider down in the left field batter's box when he's a right-handed hitter. Yeah. I don't think anybody thought when Parker Meadows went down that Baez, who hasn't played center field since he was a kid, goes out and looks like he looked like a Gold Glove center fielder. Yeah. The angles that he takes on he was getting in the jumps that he gets on the ball. All of these things you're thinking, where's this guy can play center the way he's playing it?
Yeah, where'd this come from?
Where's this come from?
Yeah.
And then I think about the swing and misses. I mean, it was alarming.
Yeah, the chase rate's still there for him.
No, but it's down.
Yeah.
He's swinging and missing a lot less than he was in the previous years.
Yeah, and baseball, we've accepted that to a certain extent. We've accepted the strikeouts. So the strikeouts are are still there to a certain extent. I think what he's doing a better job of is hitting breaking balls. Number one.
Well, he's been getting a heavy dose of them. So you either learn how to hit it or you get out. You're going to be gone.
Right. But a lot of people thought he would be gone. You and I have always respected his commitment to his team and
his work ethic
and how his teammates love him.
They absolutely. He's a great teammate.
Yeah.
And people don't know that. Now, I will say, if we want to get technical, right, there are some things that he adjusted in his swing. Bat's a little lower, trying to keep it closer to the hitting zone where he doesn't have far to go. Because in the previous years, the bat head was pretty much facing the pitcher. That's a long way to go to get it to the hitting zone.
And as you get older, that's more difficult.
It definitely gets you definitely slow down. But now he's got it a little bit closer here to the hitting zone, and you can just tell he's quicker in the zone, and he's not missing mistakes. So for me, Baez would be my biggest surprise.
It's a good one
because I love the fact that he's embraced being that team guy, where he'll play anywhere that AJ puts him, and he ain't disgruntled about it. Here's a guy that's 6 year, 120.
Yeah,
and he's doing whatever it takes to help this team win games. How about you? What do you got?
I got Dylan Dingler.
Okay.
And it's because I get that he was a second-round pick. We all know that second and first-round picks don't always work out. Hi, Matt Bush. But I would say Dylan Dingler because not only has he been better offensively than I thought, I think he's better defensively than I thought too. When you're leading the American League in runners caught stealing, your pop time is what it is. But as you've educated me before too, handling a pitching staff can be really tough. And when you take over for a guy who was a finalist for a Gold Glove a year ago, so many of the pitchers talk about their relationship and how they feel comfortable with him. And now that has shifted a little bit.
Oh, they shifted. He took his job. He took the job.
So he's been really good.
He really has. No, that's a good one. And I just here's where what I think about Dingler. Here's a guy who went to Ohio State, played center field.
Originally.
Right. So right away, if a guy can play center field, let's just be honest. I mean, he's athletic.
Yes.
He's got skills. And to be able to take that athleticism.
He says selfishly, if you can play center field, you've got skills. Yeah. Oh, we get it.
Yeah. So for me, I knew watching him through the minor leagues, hitting seems to always be the last thing that happens when you're a defensive mindset player.
And then the power is really the last thing.
And then the power comes after that because you got to get comfortable with your swing. You got to get comfortable understanding how pitchers are trying to attack you. And once you get comfortable there and you start getting that length in your swing, catching it out of front, and that's what he's doing. He's catching a little bit more out in front, and you're seeing him drive the baseball.
I remember you talking to me a couple years ago because I was asking you about Riley Green and wondering where the power is and if he'll have the power. And you said, Shep, for hitters, that's the last thing that comes. Yes. And what did he do last year? 24 bombs. More power this year. More extra base hits this year. Power is not always about homers leaving the yard. A lot of times it is.
Yeah,
but slugging also incorporates the extra base hits.
Well, he's my favorite player on the team. Yeah. I mean, I love the kid. I love his attitude. I love his presence in the clubhouse. I love how he goes about the game. I love how his teammates love him.
Yeah.
He's a pure hitter.
He should have a C on his jersey.
He really should because the way he hits, I mean, I talked to Riley several times about hitting. He hasn't changed his swing since he was a kid. Not many major league players can tell you that.
Yeah.
We all don't have the same swing because you got a coach that wants to tell you, hey, you got to do this. Can you fix this? Something's wrong with it. There ain't nothing wrong with Riley's swing.
Amen. I thought it was very interesting earlier in the season. He was in a 1-for-32 slump with 19 punch-outs, and people were wondering what the hell's wrong with him. What do we do with him? All those other things. And
tough.
look at how he's responded to now being a second straight All-Star representative. I think he'll be. I would argue he's the best left fielder in baseball.
You can definitely make that argument.
I mean, people in Houston would disagree, but there are guys who would agree with me.
I definitely agree. Yordan Alvarez for me is a DH. He could become a liability in left field for me. So yeah, I think I would go with Riley as well.
Yeah, people focus on Riley Green's running style.
I'm one of those people.
And his
he's
gate.
talking about me, guys. I just want you to know he's talking about me.
No, not necessarily.
Well, you can because
there's
he does.
a lot of people.
If you watch him run.
It's not fun.
And come get back to me because he doesn't look He's not smooth.
No.
It looks like it hurts a little bit, Shep.
It does. No one's going to confuse him with Carl Lewis or Edwin Moses. I
No.
don't disagree with you. However, you've always told me the mark of a great outfielder is how they read the ball off the bat and the jump they get. And it's hard to deny how good he is at both those aspects of playing the outfield.
He's one of the best at it.
Yeah.
And what I like, and I'm going to take it a little step further because I learned this too going from Jim Edmonds. And Riley Greens tell me he does the exact same thing. We watched bat angles. He watched bat angle, and he knows he can anticipate. It's an educated guess of where the ball's going. So if he's a left-hander up and he's playing left field, he understands that if the bat head is facing this way and it's behind, he knows that ball is going to left. So he takes off before the ball is even hit.
It's a lot to read while you're in the outfield.
Yeah, but you work on this just like anything else. In batting practice, you take a whole BP group. There's 4 guys that hit. They're probably taking, 30 swings apiece throughout the. Every day, it's homework. You have to do it every single day, and you don't have to go catch the ball, but you're just breaking, just reading that bat. And man, it becomes like riding a bike. You just see it happening before it happens, and you just start to lean this way, and you lean that way, and you just make plays.
That's really interesting.
And that's what Riley does.
I think a lot of people during batting practice, they just think players are out there yucking it up and chatting it up with one another, and yet they're over 300 feet away, and they're still able to read that angle of the bat and where the pitch is going to be. That's
if you want to be elite, as a defensive player, if you want to be an elite, those are the things you have to do.
Okay, we're hoping that a guy like Spencer Torkelson becomes elite in power. He's never going to hit for average.
I don't think so either.
It's just not happening. But he is right now on pace for a career high in slugging, OPS plus, homers, and RBIs. We know what his career high is, 31 bombs, 94 ribbies a couple of years ago. Last year, I would argue 80% of the Tigers fan base wanted him gone. They had given up on him. My reminder to all those people were, dude, he's 25 years old. He's had a really good season, and he's had a bad season. What have you noticed that has been the biggest difference with Spencer Torkelson?
And that just pisses me off, to be honest with you, that you want him gone. Here's a kid that hit 31. You don't hit 31 by accident. Let's be clear about that, too.
Yeah.
Now, moving forward, we chase, okay? When your guy has a really good year, the next year you come back, you want to be even better. So you start trying to do a little bit more. And that's where he got into. He got into trying to do more, trying to match those numbers. I saw it. Every at bat, he was you kind of feel like you're going to hit one every time if you hit 31 of them. Yeah. Seemed like you hit one every day. Now, there was some adjustments that he needed to make in his swing. I think his swing became mechanical. He wasn't athletic in the batter's box. He didn't have any adjustability with pitches that were down and away from him. He was spread out so far that he was getting stuck on the backside where he wasn't getting that backside through the baseball to be able to cover both sides of the plate. I watched him in spring training, and I knew he was going to work on it because I had talked to him before the season was over and he was going back home. The adjustments that he made, Shep, is that he's narrow in his stance, okay, which puts him in a more athletic position, gives him more room to allow his body to work. His timing is better. His hands are in a better position. And he's leaning over just a little bit. His upper torso leans over a little bit. And what that does for you, it makes that fastball, that ball away from you, seems a lot closer. So we talked about the mechanics of Spencer Torkelson. He's on a tear right now. He's hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and he seems to be back to form. Well, he had to go do some retooling of his swing. In this offseason, he had to make these adjustments to be more athletic in the batter's box. Last year, as he struggled, he was so wide in his stance to where he was getting stuck. He was getting stuck on that backside, and which was causing him to have more of a launch angle swing where he was swinging up to the baseball. But now that he has kind of gotten his feet a little bit closer together, I'm going to call it shoulder width apart, he now has a little bit of his instead of his body being upright, he's kind of bent over, like his torso's bent a little bit to where he's made that outside pitch seem a little bit closer to him. Feel like he didn't have to go out and around the baseball. Now, by doing that, that allows him to be more athletic. And I will say this, he's also changed his hand position. His hand position, his head was really close to his ear, and as he loaded up, the bat was kind of getting more upright and away from his body. Well, if you watch him now, with his feet being closer to his body, he's able to adjust. So now he's got good rhythm with his time. His timing, he's got good rhythm, good timing. But when he loads up, you'll notice that his hands and his hand and his bat is in the launch position, meaning there's a little bit of this position where you can almost skip a rock on the water where he can get on plane earlier and allows him to drive the ball. But it also allows him, if he's early on maybe an off-speed pitch, his hands stay back. Now, because of his stance, he can still go down and get that baseball. I think he's gotten away from trying to have this perfect swing, like this picture-perfect swing where every swing was so perfect that he wasn't allowing himself to adjust to the baseball. Now, because of the stance being closed up, being more upright, a little bit more torso, a little bit more over the plate, this has allowed him to not only hit the ball on the inside, which he is driving that ball to the pull side, but now he can cover that ball down and away because he has more room in his legs to be able to go down and get the baseball. Love the adjustment, love the fact that he's even being coachable because last year he was being very stubborn. So I love the idea of him making those adjustments, and the rest is history. So now you don't feel like I have to go out and around it to get it. I'm there where I can go a direct path to the baseball. Now you'll tell me that, he's pulling the baseball still, right? He's pulling the ball, and he does.
Yeah, I think he's got good power to all sides.
Yeah, but he uses most of it to the pull side.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that he's not thinking pull. He's still thinking right center to the big part of the field, left center, right center. Mm-hmm. But it's where he's catching the baseball. Mm-hmm. Because of his timing and where his hands are now, he's able to get to that pitch out of third and pull it to left center and hit it out. So I like the adjustments that he's made because last year talking to him about hitting, and even AJ, and I'll go on record and say it, even AJ was talking to him about hitting. Matter of fact, it went so far as to he sent Torkelson 3 different at-bats of Cal Ripken in the same game. 3 different stances. Trying to get him to understand that you can't take this picture-perfect swing every time. Right. You have to be
You're not
athletic.
robotic.
You can't be robotic. Sometimes you might have the bat here because you feel slow. Sometimes you got it up here because you feel quick. I like that he's coachable and that he listened, and he made those adjustments. He is right now in the batter's box. He looks as athletic as they look in the batter's box, covering both sides of the plate.
I've always given players like him or anybody else who've gone through a really adversarial, difficult, challenging time in their careers and able to bounce back, because I think the hardest thing in sports, sure, the physical aspect is really impressive. I think it's the mental thing. I mean, to be able to get past that is really tough.
Well,
I don't care what
first
sport
round,
it is.
being an overall first pick, too, that doesn't help. I mean, there's so much. Well, it is. There's so much pressure on yourself. And not that it's not warranted.
Yeah.
You put the pressure on yourself. Mm-hmm. It's not people, not the fans. It's
well,
you.
I think some of it's fans. I mean, if you go 1-1, you better be pretty damn good. And you are considered more if you don't work out. Jamarcus Russell is considered more of a bust than anybody else because he was 1-1, right? You understand where I'm coming from?
I definitely understand where you're coming from. But I guarantee you, as a bust, we're going to call him a bust, but as mad as the fans are that they drafted him and he didn't pan out, he's more disappointed in himself. Then it didn't work out for him.
I agree. He's a big reason why the Tigers' power numbers are up. There's no question, okay? Last year, Detroit was 19th in runs scored, 24th in homers, 29th in on-base percentage, 22nd in slugging, and 24th in OPS. In other words, last year, they weren't in the top half in any of their power categories. This year, they have historically, through the first few months of the season, been in the top 10 in every single one of those categories. Not just the top half, the top 10. I think that's the biggest reason for their improvement. I think the power is more important even than anything else.
Well,
what do you think is the biggest?
How do you create power? I'm going to tell you how you create power. Each hitter has to understand the pitches that they drive, the balls that we make contact. We're not talking about making contact. And a lot of times as hitters, we go to the batter's box and we're just trying to make contact. No, These guys now, when you watch their approach, each guy that goes up to that batter's box early in the count, I've witnessed early in the count, they're looking for pitches that they can drive, and I mean like hit hard, and they're getting them. And when they get them, they're not missing them. I think that's been the biggest difference.
Yeah, the swinging and missing or not swinging and missing at those pitches that you want. I also think they've been more selective. A guy, we were talking about Torkelson. He's spitting on the right pitches.
No, he is, but it's a selective, aggressive approach. Okay. Because you can't be in the batter's box saying, "Oh, I want it to be a strike." It's better. You got to think it's going to be a strike. You can't hope that it's a strike. You got to believe as you load up, it's a strike and it's going to be right where I want it. I think guys were trying to see it to make sure it was a strike, and then when you do that, you chase more. But if you're saying hit, or yes, no, or yes, and keep going, you see the ball better, and it also gets you out of your mind. You stop thinking about where is it going to go? Is he pitching me inside? Is it going to be away? You just start focusing on picking up the baseball, and I think that's when I just watch their swings. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a more confident team in what their eyes are seeing. And they're trusting those zones that they can hit the baseball and drive it.
Yeah, I love the on-base percentage. I love the willingness to take a walk. I think power hitters have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of swing and miss with power hitters. You're going to swing and miss.
Yeah. You brought up Riley Green being your favorite earlier. I get that. I think that's the answer for a lot of players or a lot of teams, I should say, and a lot of fans. We're brought to you by Imagine Theater, which makes me wonder, if he's your favorite player, who's your favorite actor of all time?
Man, this was tough for me. This was a tough one. I like Tom Hanks. But I'm going to go Denzel Washington.
As a comic actor or a serious actor? Are we talking Road to Perdition here, or are we talking about Big? What do you like?
I'm going to tell you what I like. I like...
or Woody?
I like Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump? Okay.
I liked him in Forrest Gump.
That's your favorite role then, huh?
Yeah, that was my favorite movie.
Forrest Gump's your favorite movie?
Yeah, it's up there. I watch that every time it's on.
Would never have thought that.
Why not? Why wouldn't you think so?
It just doesn't seem like your kind of favorite movie. I get maybe why it might be ranked in your top 10 or so, but your favorite movie? What do you think my favorite movie is of all time?
Oh, let's see. Let me think about this one. You're a fiery kind of guy, so let's see.
This probably
Men of Honor.
No, but it's along those realms. Braveheart is my favorite movie.
I couldn't think of the name of it. That's Braveheart.
Yeah.
I can see you loving that.
So I'm a big Mel Gibson fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, big Mel Gibson fan. I actually also really, really like Denzel Washington's one of my favorite.
Yeah, see,
that's of all time.
He would be my favorite, but I have to admit, like, watching that Forrest Gump movie, just I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. You know,
it gives you a lot of different things.
I love it.
It is a great movie.
It's one of my. It's one of my
I just didn't envision it with you being your favorite.
No.
I also like Russell Crowe a lot, except for Mystery Alaska, where he was terrible
like
because he can't skate. I mean, he's not a hockey player. So I thought it's not his fault. He was just cast improperly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no, Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, those are my guys right now. I got to stay there.
All right. No, you're good. And I got to stick with my guy. So I appreciate it. And we always appreciate Imagine Theater catching up with CMO and Shep. We appreciate you taking the chance to listen and tune us in. And we hope you're with us every single week. We're going to have some demonstrations for CMO, as you've seen earlier today. We're going to have guests. We're going to have a lot of fun, no doubt, moving forward. Follow us on all our social media channels, catching up with CMO and Shep. And we'll see you back here next time.